free about these guys are all signing big tickets. And the first day of free agency full of action. The big players were on South Beach. Miami Heat working towards completing a sign and trade, bringing Kyle Lowry from the Raptors. 2019 champion expect to snag a 3-year deal. Then the Heat turned towards one of their own, working on a max extension with Jimmy Butler. Have to have him in the fold. The 31-year-old led the Heat to the 2020 NBA Finals, posted career highs last season in field goal percentage, assists, and led the NBA in steals. And also the Heat took care of sharpshooter Duncan Robinson, agreeing to a 5-year, $90 million deal. Get this, that's the largest ticket by any undrafted player in league history. Robinson joined Steph Curry. Robinson joining Steph Curry and Klay Thompson as the only players with multiple seasons of 250 made threes while shooting over 40%. And then the late word, Tim Bontemps is confirming P.J. Tucker signs a 2-year, like $15 million deal. So you look at how the Heat project for next season. Let's just say they project really well. Wow. A star-studded lineup they can throw out on the court now. NBA front office insider Bobby Marks joining us now. And Pat Riley had himself a day, huh?
Man, you got to bring out the big calculator for this.
Wow. and we have something along those lines here. But what a day for Riley and the Heat. And, maybe completely transforming their roster now. Obviously, took care of some of their own. But you tell me, where do you want to start here? And how much better are the Heat today than they were yesterday?
Yeah, well, I'll start with it. They're a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. I'm putting them up there with Brooklyn. I'm putting them up with Milwaukee, ahead of Philadelphia. I think these moves solidify that, especially with Kyle Lowry. I think the gymnastics as far as how they were able to do everything, it started yesterday with Goran Dragic exercising his $19.4 million option. That allowed them to stay over the salary cap. They didn't go under the cap. They could have signed Lowry outright if they wanted to. They didn't do that. And when you take a player out like, Dragic and probably Precious Achiuwa, and then you add Kyle, into that mix, his number is going to be a little bit higher than that 25, right around 27. That keeps you in the game here. What they were able to do, though, is Duncan Robinson. You had his bird right, so now you can exceed the salary cap to bring him back right around $16 million, and you keep on adding, and they'll be able to stay under the luxury tax, under the hard cap. When you look at here, they're under, and then you look at a player like, we'll see where P.J. Tucker is down here. I think we might even have him in the 4s. Yeah, we got him in the 4s. And then you had P.J. Tucker because what happened is that you still had here's PJ, you still had your mid-level exception. So you had your $9.5 million mid-level exception. PJ gets about $7 million of that. And then when you slide him in there, you're still under the luxury tax. And
How's that possible?
And you can fill out the rest of your roster with minimum guys. You're probably going to lose Kendrick Nunn, who's a restricted free agent. But, yeah, you basically have turned over your roster, 2 years after they made the Jimmy Butler deal, something into nothing, and now this is a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, that is amazing how quickly you can transform. It's also amazing how you can go the other way. Toronto was 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
The Raptors are unrecognizable now from that championship club. What happens if I tap on this Kyle Lowry? Like the whole thing explodes?
No, not yet.
All right. But how quickly it can change in the NBA, right?
It can turn quickly, and they were able to. Hey, you get swept by Milwaukee last year in the first round. Like, change is coming here.
So obviously, look like the Phoenix Suns, off their NBA Finals appearance.
Well, back to our breaking news here as NBA free agency is underway. Kyle Lowry's agreed to a 3-year deal, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, and will be a part of a sign and trade to the Heat, as the Raptors are expected to get Goran Dragic, a move that fits with the contract.
Kyle Lowry, I think he is a big-time point guard. He averaged 17 points a game last year. He's poised, he's seasoned, he's a champion, he defends. He's definitely an upgrade from what the Miami Heat would have in Kendrick Nunn and Goran Dragic. There's no doubt about that. But when you look at the way Milwaukee is constructed, when you look at the way the Brooklyn Nets are constructed, and you see that in comparison to the Miami Heat, I don't believe that he's going to be that significant of an upgrade to upset or upend what's going on in Brooklyn and Milwaukee. I don't see that being that big of a factor.
Okay, after reaching the NBA Finals inside the bubble, the Heat were swept by the Bucks in the first round this past postseason. Stephen A. standing by for the entire hour if we do have.
This is why I say Kyle Lowry is going to be a different Kyle Lowry. He's going to come into this organization. Jimmy Butler now could just focus on getting buckets. Bam is going to get easy looks. I'm excited about this Miami Heat team. I'm telling you, people, look, let's not downplay this situation. This is a huge deal in the Eastern Conference, a huge deal.
By the way, not the only happy person, thanks to the Miami Heat. Woj tweeting that Duncan Robinson has agreed to a 5-year, $90 million contract to stay with the Heat, the largest ever for an undrafted player. So first of all, shouts to him. And by the way, we definitely heard on draft night the other day, we had a couple of the undrafted guys going out on social and telling the younger guys, hey, don't worry if you don't get drafted the way you want tonight. You can still be a big deal in this league. And Duncan Robinson is a $90 million big deal in this league. Mark, what do you think of that?
Oh, that Heat owner better hope the cruise industry gets back in shape. He's
got some bills to pay.
The Heat have shooters, a lot of them, which is certainly very, very important in this league. They're going to put up big numbers from three-point range, be amongst the best in the league. And, you know, the way Kyle goes to the post and kicks out, I know Duncan Robinson is going to be excited about that. Hero, Jimmy, we're downplaying the Heat.
No, it's a high IQ team, too, that we're not thinking about. We haven't been talking about that quite as much. We've been talking about fit and players. But you do have such a high IQ team there, players there who know how to make the right play, who aren't looking to just make a fuss over something because they want to have a big night, who are really scrapping and doing the work.
And are going to be honest and call each other out.
Well, we know that's going to happen.
Yeah, and that continues with Kyle.
Yeah.
Good passing everywhere. Look, we're on live TV. I haven't do any research. This has got to be the least likely big money contract in the history of the NBA. This dude was not just undrafted. He was playing at Williams College and couldn't get looks anywhere coming out of high school. He's about to make $90 million, and he deserves it, by the way. Shooting gets you paid, and he's not just a shooter. He's a capital S shooter, high volume, high efficiency, on the move. He's become a better passer. I think this contract is at the high end of what the Heat wanted to do, but I think somebody else would have come in with an offer sheet around this level and put Miami up against a barrel. So congrats to Duncan Robinson, and the Heat are going to be all in again next year.
And it really is remarkable to see when we look at, we got the crank going up. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt my sentence because, boom, Chris Paul has made it official, re-signing with the Phoenix Suns, 4 years, $120 million. And Perk, I want you to go back in time with me, please. When he signed the deal that he opted out of yesterday, everybody kept saying, man, that last year, that player option on that last year, $40-something million a year for Chris Paul. No one's going to want to pay him that at 36 years old. Well, guess what? He showed everybody the value he can have at this age, powering that team to the NBA Finals. And now, 4 years, $120 million with Phoenix. They're going to be paying him a lot of money for quite a while, Perk. What do you think that says? And remember, Chris Paul, the president of the Players Association, what message is that to the rest of the guys as they look at the kind of money that might be available for them as they advance through their careers?
Well, one thing is to make sure that you stay in the gym and work on your craft and try to be an all-star caliber player because you're going to get paid, right? But when you look at Chris Paul and you look at what he's done and you look at the commitment on both ends to the Phoenix Suns, it's telling me a lot, right? It's telling me, yes, Chris Paul deserved his payday and he wanted his money, but it also is telling me this late in his career that he believed in this Phoenix Suns organization, which is a tremendous deal. He believed in Devin Booker.
Maybe not, probably not. And I think there's more dominoes to fall because, as I said before, the biggest ripple effect, if the Kyle Lowry reports prove true, is who is playing power forward for Miami next year? Who is the fifth guy in that closing five lineup? Because it's a damn good first four, and then you have Tyler Hero off the bench, or maybe he ends up starting. I don't know. They're one player away from being really, really interesting. Remember how Jay Crowder kind of rounded out their team 2 years ago when they made the finals in the bubble? They never quite found a replacement for him. Before that, they were playing Bam and Kelly Olynyk together. That always felt like a little bit of a placeholder. That second quote-unquote big next to Bam, whether it was Miles Leonard or all that, they've just never quite figured that out except for Crowder. And if they can figure that out somehow, that team's a problem.
Well, I think Jimmy's really happy. One, he's got enough money to make his coffee business a lot bigger, man. He can hire
big face
coffee.
He was ripping people off, Mark. Ripping people. $20 a cup.
By the way, you are supposed to charge what the market provides, and you were not in the bubble, Zach. Mark and I were in the bubble. The coffee.
I should have sold for my coffee.
You should have sold out of your wine fridge. That's a whole different conversation. But you were saying about the Heat, they're committing to Jimmy.
Well, they're committing to Jimmy Butler and getting Lowry. You know, Lowry and Jimmy are friends and USA basketball teammates.
There we go again, Team USA.
I don't think that Kyle gets enough credit for his role in the Raptors winning a championship. And I expect him to have, we talked statues earlier, he should have one in Toronto as well. It's sad to see him go there.
Let me be clear, by the way, this is not a done deal yet. I know we all assume Kyle is going to Miami. That's certainly the way it's been trending over the past few days. But we've had bigger surprises in free agency. So I just want to say that this is what's likely.
But if it is, that's a nasty backcourt, boy.
Mean.
Them two guys together, whoo. They're going to bring the best out of their team. They're coming to fight every night. You got two super leaders. Kyle fits into that Miami grind, that Miami mentality. They're going to be a fighting team, and I think a championship contending team as well. I'm not saying they're not. No, they got a shot.
Yeah.
They got a shot.
That's the whole idea of this, is for them to have a shot.
They do have a shot.
Producer Steve, I don't know if you can put up, after we see this video, I don't know if you can put up the charges. I know with Kyle Lowry, that's going to be part of it. And I just want to get to Perk.
More than him.
Well,
on both ends.
That's kind of what at Perk I wanted to ask you, right? You always talk about the goons from Dade County, and with as we talk about what happens now for the Heat.
I know he liked them dogs. You know Perk loves dogs.
This is why he's the guy to ask. Look at Kyle Lowry taking the most charges the last 5 seasons. This isn't just recent. This is the man puts his body on the line. What do you think sort of the toughness, Perk, is going to be of this Miami team, especially if Kyle does join and Jimmy is now locked down for years now to come? What do you think it is going to be like for teams who come into that arena in Miami?
It's going to be hard as hell, Rachel. And look, we could arguably say that if they get Kyle Lowry, right, it might be the best defensive team in the NBA. If you look at Kyle Lowry at the point guard position, along with Jimmy Butler, along with Bam, what Bam brings to the table. And look, I heard Zach Lowe talking about who's going to play that power forward position. Look, I heard no, Zach. No, it's not a bad thing. I'm actually giving you credit. Look, you could actually, the way that Bam is starting to stretch the way that. Zach, don't be nervous. I'm being your friend.
You don't make me nervous, Perk. Don't give yourself that much credit.
Listen. The way that Bam is starting to stretch the floor, we already know that he had a 15-foot to a 17-foot jump shot. If he could stretch the floor and start knocking down threes, which he's capable of doing, then you can move Precious right to the 5 position. And look at that defensive lineup. We saw how Precious met Kevin Durant at the Moon when they played against each other, Team USA and Team Nigeria. Along with Eric Spoelstra coaching this team and having this team locked in defensively, and now if they have a chance to bring back Duncan Robinson, it's going to be dangerous for a lot of teams, and they're going to be a threat in the Eastern Conference.
And they're going to be partying in Miami the day before the game, Perk. You knew that?
The Miami advantage, same with L.A., right? What happens to the teams?
I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that.